humanity's worst kept secret. The amount of people who regularly watch it is really insane, with roughly 40 million regular viewers in America alone. The most popular sites compete with LinkedIn and Netflix for popularity, whilst roughly 1 in 7 of all internet searches are people seeking it out, with an average user getting their first exposure at just 13 years old.
That's crazy.
We don't know nearly enough about how damaging adult content truly is in the modern world, but new studies have confirmed some of our worst fears, with evidence linking adult content to addiction, dysfunction, and permanent physical damage to the brain. Meanwhile, the generation most immersed in this content are also the loneliest in living memory. Young people today are less likely to form lasting
like your first time seeing lewd image or something coming across your timeline, or you're on the bus in high school or middle school and it's like, you want to see two girls in one jar?
Relationships and connect with each other than ever before. So let's uncover the terrible consequences of modern society's new addiction and how it's sabotaging millions of young men and women's chances for love, as it's becoming clear that adult content is destroying dating forever. It might seem obvious that adult content is impacting young people's relationships. Whatever you think about it, most people wouldn't be completely comfortable with their partner consuming it on a regular basis.
Chat, are you comfortable if you're dating someone or married or whatever, them watching porn?
But it's easy just to focus on what it does to relationships. Instead, we're going to explore how adult content sabotages men from the offset, making even just dating far more difficult. Everyone's experience is different, but there's a few problems that people instinctively know are there. There's worries that adult content could act like a substitute for real human interaction. Men who consume it could lose motivation and their drive for a better life, as long as they're more comfortable consuming the content rather than putting themselves out there. Other people think it might make reality look worse in comparison, slowly raising people's expectations and sabotaging their feelings for their partner. After all, real life does
Was that the yogurt lady?
Make reality look worse in comparison, slowly raising
Is it the lady from the yogurt commercial?
People's expectations and sabotaging their feelings for their
Is that who I think it is?
Partner. After all, real life doesn't have cinematic lighting, makeup team, or flattering camera angles. And then there's the question of whether adult content makes people think more transactionally about relationships and intimacy. If someone's been consuming false content for years, living in a dopamine-filled bubble, it might cheapen the real experience. These are all good questions, but even with all the soul-searching and introspection in the world, it's really hard to tell how watching adult content actually changes you. Luckily, we don't need to get too philosophical here. New research on the effects adult content is having on our brains is confirming all of our worst fears. By looking at the facts, we can...
Speaking of content, chat just posted a brand new TikTok. Go like, comment on that shit, leave a repost if you love me. It'll mean a fuck ton.
Predict the awful consequences for young men and the dating world in general. Back in the days when tobacco companies still had complete control of the government, they developed a whole bag of tricks to ensnare lifelong customers. Most of their advertising was redundant, just reminding people that their addiction existed was more than enough. Instead, their main goal was to get new smokers, children, and teenagers who were most susceptible to picking up the lifelong habits sucked into their trap. So the company started putting adverts next to sugary drinks and snacks, or they display their adverts lower than usual, right at a child's eye level. This meant kids began associating them with pleasure before they'd even picked up their first cigarettes. It was these techniques that doomed millions of people around the world to shorten
that are addicted to it. Don't feel bad. Fuck them.
Painful lives. And the modern adult content industry uses modernized versions
Listen, bro, I'm tired of people feeling bad for people like that, bro. It's a choice. It's not hard to not go search up Pornhub on your computer and beat your meat. If your brain is controlled that by your sexual urges, you're a creep. You're a freak. You know what I mean? I think watching porn is the same as being the CUCK word. Because you're not having sex. You're watching other people have sex. You're imagining yourself on them. You're imagining yourself with that girl. That in itself is gonna do so much mental damage to yourself. You know what I mean? Imagine that. Imagine you're sitting there, you got your dick in your hand. Oh my god! You're watching other people have sex. Is that not weird? I think I've been anti-fap you guys I've stood on this ground for probably 3 years now. I have videos from 3 years ago on my second channel where I would debate people on anti-porn, anti-fap. And dude, if you're not fucking a girl, if you're not getting your dick wet, why? Think about why. You're the problem, bro. And you watching porn is gonna make it worse. You jerk. Listen, if I'm coming in a bitch. Okay, or wherever. Stomach, face, tits, doesn't matter.
these same techniques. In fact, a lot of it is done for them already. Instead of candy cigarettes, social media plays the same role. Most kids have already been conditioned into the reward path of scrolling for content by TikTok and YouTube. It's a seamless progression. As kids enter puberty, they explore their new interests in exactly the same way they consume other content.
When I was like a teenager, like 15 to, I don't know, 19, maybe 20, I was never addicted to it, but did I watch porn? Did I look at porn? Yeah, of course I did. And thankfully, I don't think I was ever addicted. I'd probably watch it maybe 2 or 3 times a week, maybe, which I think is not good, but, like, I was a horny teenager, you know what I mean? And I quickly learned and saw and I got quickly turned off by it as I got older, and I honestly, bro, just being around dudes, like, and, like, how dudes talk, like, I just feel like, "Dude, I can't be like this. I can't be like these fuckers," you know what I'm saying?
The major tube sites are designed to look and exact exactly like their safer work equivalents. It's the beginning of a cycle of addiction for these kids that's far more dangerous and damaging than anyone ever predicted. We now know that sustained consumption of adult content physically changes the brain. It's because it impacts the brain's reward system, overwhelming it with an assault of chemicals every time the content is consumed. Just like with drugs, the first time people consume modern adult content, they get a huge dose of pleasure chemicals, the most important of which is dopamine. The brain sees this adult content as an enhanced version of what naturally interests it. It's like it just found the most delicious food imaginable, and then immediately it wants more. But over time, the reward lessens as the brain gets used to this new normal. It internalizes the behavior that led to the burst of dopamine and tries to replicate it. But the results don't last forever. Again, just like with any drug, over time the brain builds up a tolerance. It pushes the person to spend longer seeking out more extreme.
Exactly, bro. And it's like that with any addiction. Like for me, like I had to smoke so much all day, every day, just to feel anything from weed or anything like that. Because I just fucking much, and it made me like I just didn't enjoy things. I didn't feel things anymore. I wasn't living in the moment, bro. It was terrible. That's real.
Content. One study found that just under half of the regular viewers they interviewed had actively searched for things they used to find disgusting and undesirable.
Yes, dude. And porn will lead you down a rabbit hole. It'll twist and warp your sexual wants and pleasures and things like that.
Naturally, the rational side of the human brain finds all of this distressing. Adult content doesn't just activate dopamine, it also creates feelings of shame, guilt, and other negative emotions. Emotions that can only be forgotten and silenced by descending further into the loop of addiction. In other words, it breeds the same destructive apathy that heavy drug users might experience.
And the thing is with porn, like you watch something and you're like, okay, dopamine, dopamine, dopamine. And then you need something more intense, more crazy, more weird, more different, just to feel a different.
And so it shouldn't be any surprise then that this destructive cycle is altering people's brains, especially in young men. One side effect researchers found when studying the brain of adult content addicts was a reduction in the striatum. This is where the brain's higher decision-making processes are found. Damage and a loss in brain matter there.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, Sammy, thanks for the bits. Like, it literally melts your brain. It turns you into a criminal. It turns you into a crook. Turns you into a fiend. Turns you into a predator. Thank you so much, Sammy. Dude, like, do I act like sexual and horny on stream? Yeah, but like in real life, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not really a sexual person. Like if I'm in the bedroom and it's going down for sure. And you know, I beat some doonies down. Thank you, Sammy, so much for the biddies, for real. But like I don't like it's just so weird to me. Like I know so many guys and some girls, but mostly guys who are literally their whole personality, their whole life is driven by their dick, by their cock, and it's just like a primal, like subhuman way to live, bro. It icks me out. It really does. Like, okay, and this might be a little graphic, but just take this for an example. Like someone, this might be a trigger warning for some people, but someone who does like something to children, right? Their sexual urges are so strong and they can't tell themselves no, they can't control it, where they would devastate, potentially kill, harm, lifelong trauma to a child. Like a child, like everyone to some extent can have sympathy and empathy for children, but their urges are so strong. Like they're so animal brained that like sex, what I want, is more important than anything else. Or like people who attack women on the street. It's weird. Not girls are the same way, but I must be honest, I'm a dude. It's definitely guys are definitely way worse. Guys are definitely way worse. Exactly. Like that's like the most insane. Like are those people are even fucking human, dude? They're like it's kind of crazy. Like it blows my mind. Like they literally care more about that urge than prison, the child's future, the child's well-being, like everything. There's like they can't control it. They're fucking primal animals. It's scary to be honest. It is scary, bro. Like it's so like scary to me that people cannot control themselves sexually.
Lends weight to the claim that people build up a tolerance to adult content over time, but it could also have unforeseen consequences for how people live their lives and how content they are with them. We've also seen evidence that excessive adult content
For real,
use can lead to
Chloe.
the damage in the connections between the decision-making center of the brain and the reward system. It means that adult content could actually be draining the pleasure from the rest of its audience's life. Another thing researchers have noticed is that addicts have much less of a response to simple images. Compared to people who have never seen it, regular viewers of adult content just weren't showing the same response.
Here's your brain on heroin. Here's your brain on porn. Okay, is that real? I don't know about all that. Well, I'm gonna need to see a study for this image right here. No way.
Showing the same response. Adult content, it seems, permanently changed their preference to the point where anything natural just didn't work anymore. It makes sense when you consider another massively widespread effect of adult content addiction: dysfunction. While it was once something that rarely affected young, healthy adults, these issues now affect over a quarter of men under 40. It's a number that's been going up.
Oh my god! A quarter of men under 40 is insane. I didn't know that. A quarter of men who are under 40, and I will say this, it's not only porn. I would say also I've seen a lot of studies that it's the hormones in our food, our health, our diets, our the substances you use, and just overall genetics. You know what I'm saying? That love is a drug. Do not want to date a man. Yes, looks like cotton candy.
Up ever since online adult content became so
Shut yo hungry ass. I'm kidding.
widespread. On top of this strange coincidence, multiple studies have linked the heavy use of adult content to male dysfunction. While it's hard to measure the reasons for why this happens, the most logical explanation is pretty simple. The completely unrealistic world that adult content portrays eventually outshines reality, conditioning heavy users to the point that the real world just doesn't compare anymore. There are too many terrible consequences on the brain to list, but even just with this small selection, we can see why adult content can have an awful effect on a relationship. It may well be damaging to relationships in general, or adult content could stop men from making these connections to begin with. So let's explore what's going so wrong and how adult content has left its mark on modern dating culture. Now that we know what adult content is doing to young men's brains and bodies, we can predict what effect it's having on dating. One massive problem we've seen over the past decade is the massive rise in young men who just aren't building intimate relationships. Society demonizes these people as incels, but in
Oh god.
reality, they're not all stereotypical neckbeards. Those caricatures make up a tiny portion of the millions of people suffering from this loneliness problem.
I'm about to have a strong opinion on this, but I'm gonna wait till he finishes his statement.
I mean, the fact that 1 in 3 men are completely checking out of the dating world should be a massive warning sign for the path that society has taken.
Bro, it's because people are you can't blame anyone but yourself. It's about extreme accountability. All right? The accountability is getting left. Parents aren't teaching accountability like they used to. You don't get accountability in schools. Bro, like Osby said it the other day, and he's a teacher, just retired, but I've seen it in videos and classrooms. Kids are not actually learning anything in school anymore. They just go, they go crazy and they go home and they're passing everybody and like they're not listening, they're not learning. There's no accountability for anyone anymore. You can get away with anything at the end of the day. What up, Turkey? I mean, not anything, but like it comes down to like my mom always told me, she goes like, Sin, if you do this, you're gonna grow up being very unhappy. If you have this, you continue to do this to people or continue to say these things or continue to act this way, you're gonna be very unhappy. And you're and my parents would nurture me, and of course they'd punish me as I needed it, but like the accountability is gone. And like if anything happens, it's someone else's fault. It's something else's fault. It's someone else's fault. It's never their fault. They always have an excuse. And it's insane. Like, dude, this is a good example. When I worked at Planet Fitness, I don't know, what was that, like almost 8 months ago now, a year ago? I had this coworker, all right, who started working there, and he was just like so offended that he had to do his job. Like he was like I think 18, 19. He just come out of high school, and he was just like, dude, why does the manager tell me to do these things? What a hard ass. Why can't I just sit here and chill, bro? I'm just like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Bro, so my first job when I was 17 is I worked at Dick's Sporting Goods in the outdoor section and I sold kayaks and canoes. That was my job. And I loved it, bro. I loved helping people put them on top of the car, giving people a good customer service experience, doing my best. Bro, people are literally don't want to do anything. They're not held accountable. They're just becoming lazy shits. That sounds fun. Yeah. The kayak king, bro. I actually liked working at. When I was younger, I mean, I still am really outdoorsy, but I grew up in North Carolina, so I was always outside doing stuff. I kayaked a lot growing up, and I was really into kayaking for a while, like on lakes and rivers. I wasn't like one of those crazy white water rapid kayakers or anything. More like chill, like hobbyist relaxation kayaking, if that makes sense.
Instead, these people are ridiculed. But what is the cause behind all of this then?
They should be ridiculed.
I can't say that adult content is solely to blame. There are thousands of different things all put.
But the thing is, the pressure they're under is literally like self-imposed half the time.
Pressure on young people right now, but it can't be denied that it's playing a major role. We saw that adult content rewires the brain, making it see real people as less desirable than video.
Like, dude, nowadays you can't even go to McDonald's. Draco! Oh my god, country girl, I love you. Bro! Some gifted subs. Thank you so much. Thank you so fucking much. Turk! No yanking. Anti-fat. But no, it's crazy. You can't even go to McDonald's anymore and get a burger because like the workers are gonna be rude as hell to you. They're gonna like throw that shit together and hand it to you. Like you go talk to like an employee that's 25 or younger. They're gonna be rude. They're not gonna be helpful. They're gonna be like, yeah, sure. What do you want? I don't care. Yeah, I don't know. Let me call somebody. Like you can't dude. No one gives a fuck anymore.
Videos. But this could happen for a number of reasons. One thing that adult content has that real life will never have is a sense of safety. There's no real checks or tests or struggle involved in consuming.
Yeah, because growing up there is no struggle. Like you don't have to worry about anything. Like people just say whatever and say fuck it.
It at all. Other than just clicking the I'm over 18 button, people naturally find the easiest way of fulfilling a need and stick to it.
Wait, what? Porn has an 18-year-old button? Bruh, back in the day, they didn't even have that shit when I watched it. That's new. Snugs. Of course, people are gonna lie too. And served attitude instead. Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's crazy, bro. So listen to this. And this was literally I don't really want to say where, but this was up in Indianapolis. And I literally stopped eating fast food because I remember one time I went through the drive-through and I was like, can I get a sausage, egg, and cheese McMuffin? And I was kind of hungry that morning. I just got working out. I was like, I don't know, what else should I get? Maybe try something new. And the cashier lady was like, are you gonna pick out what else you want? And I was just like, are you fucking serious? I was like, I didn't even do anything. I took like 5 seconds while I was thinking. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, bro, shut up and take my order. Damn. Like, I was like, what the fuck? I've lived in cities where I can tell people want to have a good society and they work hard. You can get good services, you can get good customer service, great amenities, this. And I lived in other cities where like you can tell everyone is giving the fuck up. The quality of food is down, the amenities are down, the service is down. Everything is just overall more poor in it. Like not like as far as financially, just like the quality of life is worse in that area, and everyone in that city is just contributing to it.
Leaving that comfort zone and finding a real relationship is so much harder.
But then I come back home to my little southern town in North Carolina, and me and Ben go to McDonald's and like, oh my goodness, welcome in, honey. What can I get for you? Two McDoubles and no pickles coming right up. They're nice, they're fresh, they're clean. The ladies are smiling at us. It's like so different.
Especially today, that it's not actually that surprising that our animal brains aren't bothering at all. Of course, while it's easier at first, addiction eventually sets in, which makes finding something real that much harder. Both the brain and the body get used to the comfort of the computer screen.
And I feel sorry. Yeah, Southern hospitality is real. Like, you get better service in the South. It depends on where you go in the South. I was in Atlanta, and bro, it was fucking awful. Literally in Atlanta, bro, drive-thru workers wanted to beat me up. Chicken nuggets instead of chicken, yeah, bro. Like, it depends on where you go in the South. Florida, it's got some rough areas. Chloe! I love you, girl. Thanks for coming to stream. We appreciate it. Thanks for 200 biddies. Have fun. Hopefully, I can see you before the end of stream. I miss you. Love you.
If If you suddenly add the messy emotional experience of actual intimacy into the mix, then it's not going to respond well at first. Gummy sweets might be easier to chew and sweeter in the mouth, but in the long run they're an incredibly unhealthy substitute for real food. And when you do bite into a steak months or even years later, you might not be ready for the transition. When you add in the mechanical problems that watching too much adult content causes, the picture becomes clearer. Millions of young men are losing their confidence and staying within their comfort zones. And it's not just the men. Adult content's cultural impact has major implications for dating as a whole. It's another reflection of how we've turned an intimate human experience into a datified numbers game. Anyone who's tried an online dating...
I like how, like, a lot of the ways people blame the government and like girls for like OnlyFans and porn and only, but like in the day, it's us men, it's us dudes that are 90% bots. What up, Madison? Like for me, bro, like I want to be a dude in society that people like I want to have like good moral character, good like bro. So when I was in Vegas, listen, I'm gonna tell this story. I was in Vegas, and I was gonna fight my friends, bro. And I don't want to shit on them because they did so much for me, but I will shit on them here because this is where I'll put my foot down. I don't care how lame I look. I don't care what they literally were treating me like I was a fucking nerd because I told them I would not let them drunk drive. I was like, if you guys they were drunk as fuck. I was like, if you guys leave, I'm gonna try to take the keys, and if you guys go anyways, I'm gonna call the cops. Like, they're like, dude, it's just drinking and driving. Come on, bro. I'm just like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, we drink and drive all the time. I was like, are you insane? First of all, is that not just like irresponsible for your own life? What about everybody else on the road? Like, what about everyone else? I always put my foot down on things like that because, like, if you don't, you could be the person getting hit by a drunk driver. You could be that person. I mean, and see next month, hell yeah. I'm not in North Carolina right now, but you're being real for that. You can get someone killed. I've been hit by a drunk driver too. Yo, Sammy, thank you so much for the biddies. And all the time, bro, especially if I'm in the car with Sammy, you are blessing me the fuck up tonight. Shout out to Sammy. If someone's in the car and they're driving erratically and weaving and trying to act all cool and weaving traffic and speeding, like, I do not fuck with that at all. Especially if I'm in the car. You play with your own life, don't play with my life. But those are the reasons why we have accidents and crashes. Like people don't realize, like, oh, well, I'll do it. It's not a big deal. If everyone has that mindset and people don't want to stand up to do things that are better our society and make life more livable, then society's just gonna keep on going down, bro. Her life is a complete mess. I'm sorry to hear that. I really am, bro. Listen to this. So when I was 21 years old, I was a delivery man. Realized like I was a delivery man for a cigarette company, and I was driving a big box van. I don't know if that is. It's a little bigger than a minivan. It's got a big box door on it instead of like the normal back on it. So I was driving a box van. I would leave at 8 p.m. and I would come back to the facility around 6 a.m., 4 a.m. Right, and I would drive all over North Carolina, going to gas stations and giving them like these big boxes their cigarettes orders. Right, and I was literally just did all my deliveries. I probably like 24 stops all over. Took me all day from Charlotte to Newton to near the coast, all over the place, right? I was almost back to the facility, about 35 minutes away. It was about 3 a.m. I'm just driving. I don't really see anyone else on the road. And out of nowhere, I'm driving on the interstate, right? I see lights coming at me through the window, like headlights. Like, that doesn't make sense. They should either going this way or this way. And literally, some dude was so drunk when he was turning to get on the interstate, just turned straight in, like made a full on left turn and T-boned me, bro. And then I rolled into a ditch, bruised my ribs, busted my fucking knees up. Dude, it was terrible. I was fucked up for literally months, and I had to go out of work. And I guess this isn't the best, but I didn't pass my drug test, so I didn't get any workers' comp, and I got fired. I'm glad you're okay. Yeah. Fuck that company, bro. I wasn't high while I was driving, but they fucking fired my ass. Literally, I'm in the hospital, like on like literally I leave in an ambulance. I'm getting X-rays in the hospital. They send someone down to the hospital, the company does, to drug test me, right? They drug test me there at the hospital. The company pays for it. They go back. They get the drug test. They fire me, and I'm like, what the fuck? Dude, that's crazy. I mean, yeah. I mean that part is my fault. Like, part of having that job is, I mean, when I took the job, I made sure I could pass the drug test, and I did. And then, like on my free time, I would smoke. So, like, I guess that is deserved. Like, that part is my fault, but still, I was just like, that was just insult to injury at that point.
app
insult to injury.
Knows how many bots there are. They've also probably matched with a potential partner, only to find out they're just advertising their Instagram or their OnlyFans. It isn't a coincidence that these two parts of the internet are so closely linked. The dating apps act as a barrier, filtering out the people who don't make the cuts and get rejected by the algorithm.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, if you're on a dating app, what up, Osby? If you're on a dating app, you're already making the first mistake. You as a person, think about yourself. Think about that. That's not human. That's not natural. It's not organic. Like it's not right, bro. I mean, I know there's stories people falling in love XYZ on dating apps. Good for you guys, but like that's not the common experience at all.
At exactly the same time, it offers them an alternative. The only matches they get are fake advert accounts, profiles that the apps could easily get rid of if they actually cared about it. The apps also try to bait them into buying the premium services. They don't make money if the product actually works.
That's crazy, bro. Tinder Premium. I use dating. Good Jish W. Or Catfish. And even if you're not, the dating app is not having the right mindset. So it's not only did you sign up for the dating app, the person you're talking to signed up for a dating app. So they're also in a bad mindset. They're also starting off on the wrong foot. Imagine spending money on Tinder.
They make their real money from people spending months or years on the app.
Yes, so, Tinder is working on a $500 subscription tentatively called Tinder Vault. $500.
What the
Going
fuck?
back to the staggering third of young men going without
a $500 subscription. That's they're not making that because they're like, oh, well, maybe this will work out. Maybe someone won't this. They're making that because they know it'll work. They know they have that into it that they will actually pay that $500.
Intimacy, and it isn't surprising anymore.
It's like getting your car, but the car doesn't have a gas pedal or a steering wheel. Or an organic relationship.
Systems to keep people within this lonely, addictive cycle. Services like OnlyFans seem like a step up from other adult content in some ways. They give the people who actually make the content a much larger share of the pie, but in its essence, it's just another way to turn adult content into a better substitute for real intimacy. It gives people the idea they're actually talking to the.
But here's the thing. It's not about OnlyFans or Pornhub or this or this. It's in like, we can't lie. Like, I don't know the percentage. It's like probably over 70 at least of OnlyFans and porn is consumed by men. It's not a problem of this or this. It's a problem of men in this generation and men from the past generation losing their morals, not having a spine, not having a backbone, not having like anything like that. And then when you watch, and the thing is, like, why are guys lonely? It's because they watch porn and they see the girls on Instagram and they see Tinder, and then they don't ever look in the mirror. Like you got to realize, bro, like you're not that. You're not him. You're not gonna get some baddie Insta model or some girl in a porno. Like, you work at a grocery store, bro. You know what I'm saying? You don't have a six pack. You got the whole keg, and that's fine. That is completely fucking fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But you're gonna have to find someone who also works at a grocery store and who's also not this. You get like they're like, people don't do that anymore. Like, everyone thinks they deserve this super hot, sexy, amazing person. And the thing is, none of that shit matters because in the day we all get old, we all lose our looks. You want to find someone with an amazing personality, someone like that. Like these dudes and everyone are so bold to assume not having control anymore. Yes. Who hates it? Men, or what do you mean? Like, it's like, I feel like this dude is literally just like shoving the blame onto like OnlyFans and Pornhub. But like, the thing is, if guys would stand up as a whole and move away from this, or and girls too, then we wouldn't have this problem. I'm fucking hot as hell. Yeah, Kato doesn't have that problem, but chat doesn't have that problem. Are you Shetsu? On what, Osby?
The model and getting an inside view into their world. But in reality, it's just going one layer deeper into a parasocial transactional relationship. Most of the time, popular models just hire people to respond to the messages for them anyway.
Yes.
Even that
and these dudes think they're talking to real girls on OnlyFans, bro, you're talking to a dude she paid to write and chat with you. You're not even talking to a real girl, bro.
tiny bit of real human contact is built on a lie. The fact that OnlyFans has become so widespread is even more concerning. It normalizes transactional views towards dating as a whole. For men, it changes how they view women and relationships. Both the massive amount of mass-produced adult content as well as the swarm of OnlyFans adverts just tells them that intimacy is something to be consumed and bought. And for women, it encourages them to see
for real, Turk.
themselves in the same way. It shows them a whole catalog where men are given a number and a value for however many.
Like, and here's the other thing: you can't go on to any viral tweet and not like look at the replies and see someone getting fucked in the ass or a pussy in your face or a cock in your face. It's insane. And TikTok isn't much better. Instagram definitely isn't much better. Like, none of these platforms are safe.
Fans they can get. People inevitably focus on the few models at the top raking in all the money and the attention. In reality, most people who try barely get any attention, whatever they try and do. It's insane to think that all of this can be going on and not influencing people's views on dating. People start instinctively valuing each other through the same ways they judge the appearance of others online. Instead of being something spontaneous and organic, dating has become choosing from a catalog and having an algorithm pick your partner for you. It's an awful experience if you get caught up in it, as this all amounts to an assault on your self-image. It means knowing that the world will give you a transactional value based on who you are and what you look like. Before this globalized phenomenon, whether
humans should not be transactional or organic matter, bro.
Someone was based far more on your confidence,
I'm not even high. I'm not even smoking weed anymore, and that was the most like high thing I've ever said. Humans are not transactional, man. We're organic matter. That is actually so much better. Fuck yeah, it is.
Personality and your environment.
Put it in a video, dude. So many people catching strays.
This new playing field only rewards a few superficial characteristics instead. Using them as a test you need to pass before anything else even matters. It shuts millions of men and women out of dating and finding a real connection, adding even more fuel to the loneliness crisis we're already going through. Adult content is playing an important role in this worldwide tragedy.
No, OnlyFans is not destroying traditional values. It's parents not raising their kids right, bro. It is literally at the parents. Parents want to hand their kid a tablet, teach them everything. Let the internet teach them everything. Bro, every single day my mom worked with us. My mom talked to me, my brother, my sister, my dad. I saw him go to work and work hard every day and come home to my mom and you know, provide for our family and do this, do that. Like, it's not about these apps. These apps just have showed up because the values of people have gone away. And the values start with the people we raise and how we raise them as kids. You know what I'm saying? Like like I said, I told a story the other day when I was at the old place in Vegas about when I was staying in Texas with this family. Like, they've completely screwed their daughter, bro. They've completely screwed her. They've given her no parenting, no idea of how much money is worth or the or like the value of anything. Like she didn't understand any kind of values or any kind of morals, bro. Like they just never taught her on Insta liking pics. I know, Vamp. I saw that. So literally, I saw this video, and it was a baby, not even a year old yet. They couldn't talk, didn't have all their teeth. But this is real chat. It's Generation Alpha. They are able to understand TikTok and Instagram and stuff before they can even speak to their families. Because they will literally scroll post, and when they see a post they will like it, and they can look at the comments and they can't read, but they can tell by the way the comments are shaped, the likes, the emojis, if the comments are good or bad, and they can keep scrolling, and they can leave comments of emojis, and they're not even walking yet. They're not even walking yet. And I know you guys have seen the videos where they take the phone away, the tablet away from the kids, and they absolutely fucking lose it. You guys have seen those. It's crazy, bro.
As we've already seen. You might think that getting out of the dating game and into a long-term relationship would mean that you've seen the last of adult content messing with your life. But even if you find a great relationship, it isn't all over yet. For millions of men dealing with an adult content addiction,
learn from them because they don't teach us. I mean, like, I will say this. It's not, at the end of the day, it's not about a generational thing. It's about a family thing. It's about, like, it's so normal nowadays. Oh, I got a baby mamas, but I don't really see her. I got another baby mamas. Or like, you know, I got a kid, but like she stays with my mom and dad. I'm gonna go pick her up, blah 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 blah. Like once you have like people like do not understand how important it is to raise a child, to teach a child, to do all this stuff. Yeah, exactly, Turkey. You got someone hating your comments, they're not even a year old yet. How do you feel? Getting shit on by a little infant, 7 months old. Scary. It's not about a generational thing because like there have been amazing and bad people raised in each generation. But I will say that like being a parent and raising a child is definitely fallen by the wayside and not seen as important. And that's why all these little fuckheads and morons are running around now, because nobody taught them any better growing up. Letting technology raise them, and if you could even call it raising them, like warping them.
Addiction, it can be hard to shake even when they have something real to replace it with. Quitting anything that you've been doing for months or years can be tough. Even small habits are slightly psychologically addicting. With adult content's effects on your reward system though, it's even harder for your body to quit the easy source of dopamine. This can be a problem for people in relationships. Now it depends on how your partner feels, but nearly a third of women think that watching it is a form of infidelity. It gives
I think it's lame. Listen, if you, I've had talked to girls like, yeah, my ex had a porn addiction. I was like, ew, you dated him? I was like, honestly, I get insulted. I've talked to some girls like, yeah, you're so great, you're so amazing. I'm like, why? She's like, my ex did this, this, this. I was like, why were you with them? Gross. Gross, gross, gross. I guess the standards are just so low nowadays.
the idea that your partner isn't enough for you. You need other women. While no other people are actually involved in any intimate way, it does.
Literally, this is the easiest way to stop watching porn. You guys ever played Mario? Hold on. You know this motherfucker? But this is how I run my life. I imagine this motherfucker is following me around all the time. So I can just imagine myself like lean back, you know, double chin, my phone in my hand, my meat in my other hand going, like, and I'm just, if I could see that, I would audibly cringe at myself so fucking bad, I could never do it again. Like, dude, how do you live with yourself? Like your face is getting ready, like, nah, nah, nah. Oh my god, keep fucking her, bro. You're looking at, and if you're a straight dude, you're looking at dicks all day, bro. You're looking at cocks. And there's nothing wrong with being gay, but like, you gay. If you watch porn, chat, hot take, if you watch porn, you are gay. I'm kidding. Like, dude, how are you gonna bust a nut with some dude's dick in your face? Like, you know what I mean?
This made lots of people uncomfortable. And so it might not come as a shock then that people who are addicted to adult content are also more likely to cheat on their partner. It could be a case of simple correlation rather than a casual link.
That's why I only watch lesbian porn. I'm kidding.
People who watch a lot of it probably have a higher libido, which would make them
Nah, you smoked weed and you were still gay. I'm kidding.
more tempted. But it could also be a case where adult content is cheapening the value of intimacy altogether. If you watch it every day for potentially hours at a time, it would start to mean less. We've already seen how adult content erodes the decision-making part of the brain.
Yes.
It could subtly influence people's judgments.
I love how much my community has changed, because I used to watch videos like this all the time when I was much more into the thirst trap community and being thirsty. This community's become so amazing and wholesome. I have a 3-hour video where I was arguing with my own chatters because they're like, well, porn this, porn that. Like, there's literally a video on my YouTube where they argued with me. And I was like showing them the facts, showing them the science and everything, and just showing them like the overall like social impact and just how cringe it is. And they didn't believe, they defended it. Yes. And the thing is, you can say you watch porn and once a week or whenever, and that's fine. That's completely fine. But at the same time, like, you can still be like aware enough to admit that's probably not the best thing. I mean, like, bro, I had addictions and things I was doing for years. Did I not tell you guys, like, when I was like, guys, I'm abusing the fuck out of weed? I would straight up admit it. I'm like, guys, I'm not saying this is right. This is not good what I'm doing. It is hard, but we have to encourage it. It's sober summer. Listen, I've been fighting literally every single day. I want to smoke. I want to smoke right now. I've been craving a joint so fucking bad. But it's like at the same time, like, am I gonna let an urge, a hormone in my brain control my whole ass life? I was like, I can't do this shit anymore. Sammy, thank you so much for the bits, because thank you so much, because not only did it affect my relationships, it affected my family, it affected my finances, it affected my health, it affected so many things. And I was just like, and I'm honestly kind of embarrassed. Like, at times I went that far with it and I was that bad. Because I was bad.
And make them more likely to make unforgivable mistakes.
It do be like that.
The other effects that adult content has.
Why the fuck is that GIF so huge? Is anyone else seeing Turkey's emote giant right now? It's like massive. How the fuck did you do that? You're doing it.
Conducive to a healthy relationship either. Over time, as people get further into their addiction, they need more and more extreme content to get the same amount of
size. On my screen, that GIF was huge. That emote.
Dopamine. Eventually, they can find themselves watching strange and potentially violent content which used to disgust them. This alone is disturbing, a sign that adult content is pushing millions of people towards unhealthy obsessions. Shaking it off and returning to normal is really tricky, and it's unclear whether these preferences are permanent changes or if they wear off after a while.
I tried to quit dozens of times, hundreds of times, and really what happened was whenever I was old enough to
so this guy, no chin, sunken in forehead, so you know he has, a smaller frontal cortex, bad at decision making, which is just a sign that, I don't know, he's weird. Bro, I'm not gonna feel bad for you if you have porn addiction, man. Bro, take your device, throw it out the fucking window.
enter in.
I didn't want anyone to feel bad that I had a weed addiction. Looks British. No, he doesn't. Don't do that to Sammy and my boy Stitchy. They're. Listen, no more British hate. We gotta stop, chat.
Into relationships and start trying to
And
engage
Justin
in sexual
Bieber.
activity, I realized that I essentially conditioned my brain to prefer pixels over, people.
Yeah, and that's your own fault. Dude, our ancestors and grandfathers, great-grandfathers stormed the beaches of fucking Normandy. They literally had to open the boat drop, bullets, and they chose to run onto the beach, and you can't choose not to watch porn? You're telling me you don't have that much willpower? You're that controlled by your sexual urges? Bro, take him out back behind the barn and shoot this motherfucker.
And partners.
But it could easily bring tension into a relationship if both people aren't on the same page. If someone's only experiences are through adult content, it could also pose a problem. They could think that the risky, gross, and potentially dangerous things they do in adult content are normal. If they bring these expectations to the bedroom, it could be a nasty surprise for their partner who might feel pressured or uncomfortable with their requests. In case it wasn't clear, there really isn't a case to be made for watching adult content regularly, if ever. We've seen the things it can do to your brain, your chances in the modern dating world, and your most important relationships. But if you stop consuming adult content, nearly all of these problems will just fade away. The brain, the body, and even the soul are ready to repair themselves. They just need the time and energy to do it.
Real.
If you enjoyed this video and you want to learn how to make videos like I do,